Well, it's yet another beautiful day, and you're listening to your number one station, RX Radio. Fatboy here, hanging out with Olive, hoping that you are having a lovely day. I wonder if, as you're listening to this on RX Radio, are you driving through town? There are ways of listening to RX Radio as you drive, by the way, in case you didn't know. For example, it being an online radio that plays through a mobile app, or you can even play it through the mobile website accessible through your phone's internet browser. You can pair your phone to your car's internal Bluetooth system. That is if you have an advanced model of a car, or a car with an advanced stereo system that has Bluetooth in it already. In which case, it's easy to pair, and you can just blast RX Radio through your car's music system as you would your favorite playlist or Spotify or whatever. Or you can use a Bluetooth adapter that you can pair with your phone and then connect it into your car's auxiliary input. Or if you don't have a Bluetooth adapter and your phone is one of the more ancient models that still has a headphone jack, well, you can plug an auxiliary cable, a stereo cable, into the auxiliary jack, or rather the headphone jack of your phone, and into the auxiliary input of your car stereo. Connect it with that wire and then play RX Radio to your heart's content. If you've ever listened to RX Radio through your car stereo system, it sounds so crisp and clean and so amazing. Much better than what an ordinary FM radio will sound like, which will have so much distortion and rumblings, and there'll be black spots and all kind of rubbish. But with the RX Radio, it's crystal clear. And so if you happen to be listening to RX Radio as you drive through town, well, you must be having a lot of fun. Of course, you could very well be seated somewhere in your office. You might even still be in your bed. It doesn't matter. There are all kinds of ways to enjoy RX Radio.
And if you are just listening to RX Radio on, using your friend's phone, you might as well download the app onto your phone. Go to Play Store or App Store and download our app. And you can also access us through your website on your laptop.
Yes, you can do that too. And if you happen to be driving through town, I wonder if you've noticed sudden changes with the landscape of Kampala. Of course, there's all kinds of new buildings, shopping arcades, shopping malls, hotels. But if we are lucky, soon we might see a new landmark located in the middle of Kampala city, where present-day Watoto Church is situated. You know, the main Watoto Church I'm talking about. There on Buganda Road or Kampala Road, depending on which side of the city you're in.
Those who go to Watoto know it as Watoto Downtown.
Watoto Downtown. So apparently they want to demolish the building and erect a massive new complex, which shall comprise of a 12-story building, a 3-star hotel, 3,000-seater auditorium, and a shopping center and a youth center also. This is quite phenomenal. And in case you've been on social media, you might have seen some of the artists' impressions that have been posted there of what the proposed new building shall look like. It looks impressive.
Yeah, it does. And
I think it'll be very welcome in Kampala, except you won't believe this, but Watoto Church is facing some obstacles. Apparently, they're at odds with some law pertaining to the preservation of monuments, of which this structure, where it is currently situated, is considered to be
a
monument worthy of protection by the government. Now, it's a very old building, one of the earliest cinemas ever built in Kampala. And for that reason, it has some historical value. And so there are some people in government who are hesitating to give Watoto Church the clearance to proceed with their construction plans in lieu of it being a protected building, allegedly. Now, there seems to be some dispute about the ownership of it in conversations I'm seeing. My understanding is that the building was purchased by Watoto Church and paid in full.
That's true.
I recall that there was a time I used to go there, and there'd be fundraising drives to be like, hey, we want to buy the building and so donate, and these people have no problem raising money.
Oh, by the way, yes, you mentioned that before we came on air. Now I remember, yes, and I actually have contributed to the buying of Watoto Church.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be my church before I moved to another.
Okay, so seeing as from all indications are that the building is the property of Kampala Pentecostal Church. Really, the application, them applying for to have their plans approved, should really be welcomed with open arms. However, mysteriously, they're facing resistance from the government.
Yes.
This is quite interesting. Now, when you go to the history of how they came to occupy the building in the first place, I understand it was given to them freely at first.
At first, yes, because it was shortly after all the chaos we had some years ago. So
And there was nothing going on in Kampala.
There was nothing going
so
on
they're
in
like,
Kampala.
you go there and pray
yes,
from there.
Pastor Gary wanted to start a church, plant a church, and they gave him a location right in the heart of the city.
Imagine. And he turned that into one of the biggest churches in the country.
Yes.
With now many branches across the city and across the country. So that being said, I do think that the building is due for demolition. It's an old building, and I think it's the way it is built, its design and infrastructure isn't well suited for the demands of present-day Kampala, right? So I don't know how much of the space they want to utilize, but I'm guessing they'll also use portions of the parking space, if not the entirety of it.
I think everything, because it's not okay. It's not very small, but also it's not very a big chunk of land. So they would have to take advantage of everything that is there. Maybe they have good architects that have a good design where they can do underground and
they can do like 3 or
skyscraper,
4 levels of underground parking.
Exactly,
which would compensate for the car, because I do park there. It's a very convenient place to park in the city.
Actually, there is a time I was in town with you and we left our car there and took a walk on Kampala Road.
Yes, I think
most people do that.
Yeah, I think we'd gone to buy computers or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very convenient location, and so no wonder so many eyes are on it. Now, the reasons I'm seeing, like I mentioned, seem to be quite mysterious. The acting commissioner for museums and monuments at the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Jacqueline Besige, is saying that the government's position on this land is that Watoto management should consider preserving part of the structure. She also hopes that the current bill on historical sites and monuments, although returned to Parliament by the President, shall help in their bid to preserve such sites. Why would they be preventing Watoto from proceeding? Here's what I don't understand.
No, it would make sense if we were a cultured country where, heritage means something to us. But honestly, look around you. All the schools, probably even a primary school that you attended back in the 80s or even early 90s, maybe doesn't even exist today. Look for Shimon. Where is it? Again, where is it? If I want to find Shimon Demonstration
it's now
School,
called Kingdom something.
The dormant arcade, and many old buildings have been taken down over the years. So for KCCA to come out and say, we are trying to preserve heritage, they're telling the church to preserve part of the building. How do you do that? You want to create something new and they're telling you to create something, to leave out something old. And for me, it is the hypocrisy of where have you been as other old buildings have been being demolished? Where have you been?
Yeah.
Actually, the Watoto building is one of the few buildings that are still in good condition because Watoto has done a good job of preserving it. But do they make money out of it? Is it like the Notre Dame where tourists go every year and, they make hundreds of billions of money from tourists that come to see the building? No, they don't make any. There is no financial bearing on Watoto for keeping the building as it is today. Yet, since they own it, if they were to, run it down and rebuild it, they could make more money.
All right, so real quick, let's look at this thing called the Museums and Monuments Bill, which they're relying upon to pressure them to preserve part of the building. So it was in 2022 that the Parliament passed the Museums and Monuments Bill, which sought to provide for the formalization, control, and protection of tangible and associated intangible cultural heritage. Preservationists were hopeful that Watoto, which is listed as item 213 of part 3 of this bill, which lists historical and cultural monuments in this new bill, would be saved. However, the president returned it, questioning some of the listed sites. I wonder if this was one of them. But I guess the wrangles are still ongoing. I do hope that it is resolved in a way that favors Watoto Church, because ultimately I think it's to the betterment of Kampala City.
It would be. I mean, you've seen what Watoto has done in this country over the last how many years? 30 plus years?
Because there's a Muzungu involved in it, we can expect
I didn't want to go there.
We can expect that things will be done professionally and seriously.
Things will be done professionally. I thought you're going to say because there is a Muzungu involved, some people are trying to, stand in his way, because that too counts.
And it's best to assume that Gary Skinner and his team are not the kind of people who would grease the wheels, so to speak, to expedite the process of approvals, which I would imagine could be common practice.
And it could be the reason why they are meeting resistance, because
they're like, wait, so you're going to invest so many tens of millions of dollars in,
and you're already rich. You're already rich. So much money in our country.
So so are you going to take care of us also? And if not, then maybe we can pull out this bill and say, hey, it's a national monument. Sorry.
You see, I wouldn't mind if we were, like I said in the beginning, I wouldn't mind if the city authority came and said, you know what, you need to preserve this because we are a cultural community. If we were a country that actually pays attention and preserves these things, if I ask you right now to go downtown and find the clock tower, you're not gonna find it, because it was taken down. They're rebuilding the road, and actually as we speak, even before they took everything down, the clock itself was missing, and the museum what did you call it? Is it the museum board? Mm-hmm. They don't even know where the clock is, where the original clock for the clock tower is.
For all we know, it was thrown away.
For all we know, someone took it and sold it and made some good money for themselves.
Yeah, so I'm smelling a lot of corruption here. There's no logical reason as to why they should face any hurdles. And if they are facing any hurdles, it must just be because someone somewhere is waiting to receive some form of facilitation.
And because they haven't.
And because they haven't, they're stonewalling the development of this property. Well, yeah, it's a beautiful building. We'll post it on our Twitter page or Facebook page if you haven't seen it already. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, probably you will see it displayed on the screen. Okay, well, best of luck to the team at Watoto Church and to the people of Kampala. Surely this new project will be a very welcome thing indeed.